Welcome back to Buns, Burgers, and Big Ideas, and we're so super excited today, not only because I am the host, Nick Schneider, but we are here with another panel, and with the panel, we're going to do 3 more episodes. And we're super excited because this next series, we're going to be focusing on peak hour leadership. And we've got a range of awesome AGMs and GMs right on our panel. So we're going to go ahead and say hi right away. After I say your name, just give us a little wave or a little hair flick or a peace sign, whatever you want to do. So on the right, we've got Jackie. She's an AGM. Next to Jackie, we have got Catalina. Catalina, a little wave. And next to Catalina, we have Shay, and she's another awesome AGM. And then last but not least, we have Kassidey on our left today. And so excited to jump right into this peak leadership, because guess what? As leaders in the restaurants, stuff gets crazy, and our biggest focus today in the next couple podcasts are going to be really what do we do before the peak, during the peak, and then of course after the peak every single day to be successful. So who's ready to get started? All right, we're going to jump right into our very first episode, and we're going to talk about when the rush before it starts, and what do we as leaders do every single day before that rush to make it successful. So I'm going to just start off with an awesome question, and then we'll just jump in and just have some good conversation around that topic. What are the first 2 things you check before a rush?
The first 2 things I check are like stock and prep. You want to make sure you have fries, and then you want to make sure the grill has the ingredients prepped, like lettuce and tomatoes, so then you don't run out, because if you run out during a rush, it can hold you back a lot.
Thanks, Shay. Yeah, being prepared for that rush is really important. Any other best bets?
Yeah, kind of to piggyback off of that, I would definitely say people as well. So making sure that you have people in every single area, because again, last minute, you don't want to be running around, and ensuring that, there's not someone in a specific position that could potentially hinder you during a rush. So I would definitely say check your people as well.
Awesome.
As a GM, I always just make sure pre-shift checklist is completed, making sure my managers have time to get that done before that rush, and just really going over their shift sheets as well to make sure that everyone is in the right places. So aces in places. Awesome.
So it sounds like making sure that we've got the products we're going to sell, and we've got the people to make sure that we can sell that stuff. Awesome, you guys. Really good. So Shay, you had mentioned that you like to check and make sure you have the lettuce and tomatoes and all the things that we needed before that shift. Do you have a routine that you do every single day, or something that you do that's super successful for you?
Kassidey was saying with the pre-shifts, when you go and do a pre-shift, you check that on the pre-shift, and you check everything on the pre-shift to make sure that you are ready to go.
So doing those pre-shifts is super important then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You sure? 100% important. Yeah. I think they say 80% of the things that we're going to run into or problems we're going to have during our shift, especially during that peak shift, is caught and fixed with that pre-shift before we go into that peak. So that's really awesome. And then I know a couple of us said having their people in the right position. And does McDonald's have a tool that helps you guys ensure that that's...
That's my answer. It's going to be the first thing that I always check. It's before the rush is that check the DSPG. If it's completed, it should be completed. It's very important, that they have it done, because that way you have people on the right path, and it's very important you have to see how many people you have, depends on what the day is going to be. But it's very important to have those DSPG done.
Have we ever ran a shift without the dynamic shift positioning guide? By maybe just a show of hands. Have you ever ran a shift without it?
I mean, if you want me to be completely honest, probably at least once in my life, a couple of times. But definitely don't recommend doing that.
Do you remember how it went? That one time that you didn't?
I would say you definitely just run into certain issues where okay, maybe someone called off and you didn't check that off. Or again, you're just then making decisions on the spot that can sometimes then hinder your process throughout the shift as well.
Some of the experience that I have in the past was when, sometimes it's not completed. It's the way they position the people. Sometimes they have like extra people in the kitchen, and you like suffer in a service area, and then that's when you kind of like, oh, okay, something going on here. It's when you go back and check and, hey, where is the DSPG? Oh, I didn't complete it. Oh, that's why. Because I see like not balance in service people, kitchen people, and that's when you realize like something going on here. And yeah, it's very, very important because sometimes people, let's say sometimes schedule goes with the grill service and it's telling you where the people goes. But by the end of the day, you have to do the TSPG and you going to balance your people. Even if a schedule says grill or service, you have to put your people on the right spot. So it's very, very important.
Yeah, it's almost like if you fail to plan, you're just planning to fail with that dynamic shift positioning guide. Is that right? Yeah. And then really another thing I kind of heard from everybody is when we do fail, we kind of fall on our standard. So if your standard is to have that dynamic shift positioning guide and to do those pre-shifts and probably those travel paths during your shifts, your success rate's going to be a lot higher because you're holding that standard to a high margin. Good. So talking about the pre-shift checklist, why do we think that so many managers in the restaurants just don't do them?
It is a little time consuming, so I feel like that kind of like people don't want to do it, but they don't realize how important it is.
Yeah, so if I think it's too time consuming, and then you said they don't see the importance in it, why do you think we don't see the importance in the tool? Because if we see how important it is, wouldn't we find the time to do it?
I think a lot of it might have to do with people thinking it might be more beneficial for them to be on the floor seeing things. But like you said earlier, you can solve 80% of your problems with doing that pre-shift checklist. So take the 30 minutes, get it done, do a good walkthrough, and your shift is going to run smoother. It's proven.
Yeah, I wish there was like a scoreboard that said, hey, Kassidey did an awesome pre-shift. Ding! This is what she got out of it, because I don't think that exists. It doesn't, right? But the more we get comfortable doing it and the more reps we get, and I think the more wins we get with it. And it would be really cool if we had that. Do you guys use the QSR Soft TV to see? Oh, okay. So maybe tell me a little more about that and how does that help?
It's good when ours is in our crew room. I don't know if everyone's is like that, but it's good when they can see like where we're at on the scale and they see that there is improvement to be made. Or they're like, wow, we had a great day today. Like, it's good to be able to actually visibly see those things instead of people just talking about it. Because you can talk until you're red in the face and blue in the face. But like to actually see it with your own eyes, it gives somebody a sense of like pride in what they're doing.
And also to jump onto that, I would say definitely the point system that McDonald's has is also like a great way to motivate people. I mean, if we're hitting our times and they get rewarded for that as well. So I think that's just an additional motivator for them as well.
Yeah, you bring up a really awesome point. Like, how often do we reward points for our team? And do we do it enough?
Yeah, but going back to the pre-shift, at the same time, if you set your targets, it's going to be a big impact if something happened that you had to run on the middle of the rush, getting to the back, grabbing something, like you run out any product because you didn't prepare. And then you missing points there, like you're missing the times. Somebody's going to get frustrated. It's going to come out like different issues about it because you didn't prepare. So that's very important. That's why you set your goals, and then you need to make sure you prepare, before the shift starts. So just to avoid all those kind of issues.
Yeah, it's some added pressure for us as leaders, especially when everybody's punching in with a purpose now. Hey, we got to hit X amount of seconds because guess what? I'm going to get that much points for it. So do you feel added pressure when it comes to the rewards and what not our customers, but what our employees get when we are awesome? Is there added pressure as a leader?
Yes. I feel like we want to do good for our employees and we want them to get that incentive. So I feel like at least it motivates me more to do better for them because it's not only me getting the points, it's them as well.
That's very important to communicate them how you're doing because, they know sometimes we are, hey guys, you 40 seconds or then we need to go through the 38, 2 more seconds. And they got, that motivation about like, okay, guys, let's work for 2 seconds and let's keep going and to our target, so they know what seconds they need to work on, and because they know they will get those points. So we just need to communicate to them, during the shift, and let them know how we're doing, and then it's everybody wins, not only one people, like everybody wins at the same time.
Can I add on to that a little bit as well? I'm newer to the Bucefaro family, so the point system was kind of something new for me. We had something else at my last stuff, but it is very motivational. I have noticed that with the teams that I'm a part of now, is they want to earn those points, and like being able to explain to them how they can earn those points, and when they start earning those points, when we do start doing better and better each shift, like it is a very big proud moment, and it's a very big like inspirational, motivational tool to get everyone on your side.
All right, let's talk about it. We've been talking about the rewards points a little bit here now. What are some awesome prizes that your team has won? Now, I just heard somebody got like a washer and dryer. Is that true? Well, what are some awesome, amazing prizes that your folks have won?
So I have a coworker. She's a manager, and they have raffles on there as well, and I think she put like 1,000 like points for a raffle, and she won a PS5. So she was very excited about that.
Awesome. Like a PS5, like the actual PlayStation system? Okay, right on. Anybody else?
I've seen people win like furniture. I've seen them win like AirPods, refrigerators. So any like home appliances have been like awesome to see them get that as well.
And even just some technology as well. There's phones on there that you can win or get with your rewards. There's stuff for your family. There's car seats. Right now I am in the raffle for the toddler play set because I know my kids are going to love it if I get it. So it's just, there's a wide spectrum of things on there for anybody that wants things, whether it's the gamer guy or if it's the mom that needs a car seat, or if you just need a washer and dryer and you just need to save up for it. Like there's lots of options on there for everyone.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's an awesome beneficial addition to everything they already do.
And I think that it's getting better every time, because I remember, some months ago, some of the team members, they still don't know how those points works, and they not even have the app, download, because they used to use just to check the schedule, and then that communication is getting better and better, and they to understand more what is the important. And then if you had those communication with the team, talking about to check your schedule, you had to go to Lightlands, try to use this app just for the points, and then try to went through the app for them. Some of them, they didn't have it download, so supporting the team, and explain them how it's important to have the app download and how it works. And specific in my restaurant, I see a lot of people motivated. They find out that they have so many points that they didn't know about it, and then they get so excited, starting rewarding those points and asking like how I can get more, and it's so cool, like to that feeling to help them work for those points.
So how do you decide who goes where, and what's your thought process on that when we do that dynamic shift positioning guide?
I decide on who goes where based off of their skill levels, and I also try to like put people where they want to go when I can. And then you want to make sure that they have like a backup role as well, like not just a primary role. So that's how I decide where people go.
It's interesting you said, I like to put people sometimes where they want to be. Why is that important?
I feel like they'll be like more motivated to get the job done if they like what they're doing.
I like that. More motivating.
If you feel that, okay, it's because I had to have my aces in places, but sometimes it's okay for you to have those aces in places during your peak hour. Sometimes you keep them for long shifts, and they feel like, oh, So, not happy because you've been keeping them for like 7, 8 hours in the same spot. And your point was to keep them to help you in peak hour. But sometimes you forget that you can switch the people around so that they feel like happy. Sometimes you're going to have people like, oh, I like to put this person in a bad mood, but probably they don't like it. They not feel comfortable because you always have them over there. So it's a very cool thing if you just try to feel like, that's why we had to train other people, not to keep, oh, this is my best person to keep it there. But you can give the opportunity to somebody else, not to keep the same person on the same spot, to make them happy.
Yeah, and when it comes to retention and retaining our people, I think having that mindset is important because you mentioned, Avi mentioned it a couple of times, like when we take care of our people, they're going to take care of us. So I think that's really important. Like, I never liked being in back cash, but I was good at it. And then, like you said, if you're back there for 7 or 8 hours, then what does it do? What does that do to your morale? So that's good. What do you say in a huddle that gets people locked in? Do you guys do those shift huddles before we start? Now, maybe it's not, hey, everybody rally around like a football team and a, what do they call it? Not halftime. Yeah, just like a football team, but huddles together, hands on their shoulders. We might not do that, but do you guys kind of rally up maybe the front of the house and the back of the house before that shift starts?
I would say it's less of like a sort of like sports huddle, but more so of like, hey, let's set targets and like get your crew motivated. So definitely like being like, hey guys, like let's go ahead and shoot for like 110 instead of 120. And I think setting those goals really gets your crew excited to work towards something.
So going off that, I kind of go like if yesterday, hey, you did 45 on KVS. Can we get to 40? Like I try to set those new goals based off what they did like the day before, just to keep them motivated.
And you said it, but I'm going to ask again, like, why is it so important for us to have those goals? Maybe not for us as leaders, but our crew that we're leading.
How do they know what the goal is? Like, how do they know what they're supposed to be doing, how they're timed? Like, how do they know that there's something to achieve without setting those goals?
Yeah, because I think everybody wants to be a part of something. And what is something that you don't, like, if you don't know what you're working for, what are you doing? Like, what are you a part of? Yeah, I think you said it really well. What's the most common bottleneck? And what do you do before it hits?
I say probably during weekends, specific during weekends, because it's when those big rushes are turning like horrible sometimes if you're not prepared, especially when it's because you have the youngest kids working there and it's a little more hard sometimes, to try to keep them motivated, for those goals to prepare the shift, during the shift. But it's just a motivation and the patience that you have to be with those kids. But if you know how to treat them like in a good way, to motivate them, so you find a really great people there if you know how to treat them, how to motivate them. So you can make the goals if you just because I know it's sometimes too much frustration, because during the time the peak hours and breakfast is so tough sometimes, but you just need to have motivation on those kids and it's gonna be working.
Yeah, kind of, sorry, just to add on to that as well, I would say definitely the most common bottleneck I feel like we come across is anyone that's at the window. So whether it's like back booth or the person like at presenting, because that's definitely where they're seeing the customer and interacting with the customer first. So I would say what you do before that into ensuring there's either like an expediter if you have the people, or just having someone there that's able to support them so then you can help move the line faster.
So it sounds like a lot of times those bottlenecks come when we get really busy. So, and you mentioned Saturdays, and you said breakfast can be really crazy. Do we do anything different, or do we do any extra steps while preparing for those Saturday morning rushes? Like, do we say, hey, let's ensure that we split the function, make sure that somebody's taking orders and somebody's cashing and not doing both, or making sure that we have like an expediter to help double check those bags and drive through and just keep that high level of service while maintaining that awesome hospitality?
So this is where like the secondary roles are important. Like if you have someone on front counter, but drive-thru is really busy, and you're waiting on like fries or hash browns, and you can say, hey, like, you don't have anyone on front counter. Can you please do the fries and hash browns for me? Because like, if you run out of hash browns or fries, it's a lot, and you can get really behind.
And kind of to buddy up with that too is just making sure that anybody available to have a headset on has a headset on as well. So that way they can jump in and help out whenever it's needed.
Yeah, I really like having those secondary duties. Is really a good point. And is that a practice that McDonald's has, like for every position? We're supposed to be doing that, like a second. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And so many times, like the secondary duty is like looking at my phone. And as leaders, we get mad, like, oh my God, I'm gonna take that phone and put it in the safe and lock it up. But like, maybe just having that conversation and giving them that secondary duty, maybe pulling out that phone would be like the third thing they would do, right? Awesome.
So I think it's very important that for weekends, you always, or most of the time, you're going to have a call-offs. And then you always have to have a plan B on there. So that's very common that this is going to happen. And I personally, what I always do is always have like 1 or 2 people added to the schedule for those calls off. Even if, let's say, you're lucky and nobody calls up, but it's okay to have some extra hand, because like you say, if you have someone in French fries, it's a big rush, and I know there's gonna be like behind, but that person can help, like, stuck in the French fries area, or we can use them like to bring in ice, or have an extra person getting those spark out. So it's always a good, time to have someone extra. It's gonna be a better shifts to run.
Perfect. Thanks, Catalina. Anybody else want to kind of talk about when the rush before it starts and what that implies?
Just something that I constantly am talking to my team about is, like we've already stated, just setting those goals in place for your team, pre-shifts done, DSPG done at least 24 hours in advance. That way you have time to come up with secondary plans if you need to. And then just like making sure when you are done running your shift, you're handing over the best shift possible.
And then also, just to add on to that, I would say like the DSPG, I like to think of it as like a framework. Like, of course, it's like a good plan to follow, but also don't make it so rigid that if things come across that you're not able to be flexible as well. I think it's important to be proactive versus reactive, but also know when to be reactive as well.
Yeah, we always joked around years ago when I was a GM that the dynamic shift positioning guide was like a roadmap. Hey, I'm going to go from point A to point B. It's going to get me to the quickest route there, but things are going to happen. You're going to have construction. You're going to get a flat tire. Your kids are going to get hungry. We have to go to the bathroom, and there's going to be those detours. And that's just like running a shift. Like, things are going to happen, right, Jackie? Like, we're going to have to flex. We're going to have to, I don't know what the word is, but you know what it is. Like, we're going to have to pivot on a dime during those shifts. And then guess what? There's going to be a time where we have to go right back to that standard again. That's repositioning those people back according to the dynamic shift positioning guide. So I think that was really awesome. Well, this has been a fantastic episode, and I'm super, super excited. Just to kind of recap what we all talked about was, really win the rush before it starts. And you guys said it loud and clear, doing your pre-shift checklist after we do our dynamic shift positioning guide 24 hours in advance. Once again, catching those 80% of those, not 80%, 80% of those issues that would happen during the shift, during that pre-shift checklist. And, we talked about putting our aces in our places, but being, cognizant that they might not want to be there forever and taking care of our people. And it's really, really amazing, and I really appreciate you guys. Join us next week. We're going to have the same panel, and we're going to talk about leading loud and staying calm. We'll see you next week. Listen, learn, and lead.
Thanks for joining us on Buns, Burgers, and Big Ideas. We hope today's episode inspired fresh ideas for your leadership journey. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and keep learning with us as we continue to explore leadership in the QSR world. Until next time, take care and lead well.